hurts.
Oh! Why?
So, okay, interesting story. Recently, there was a friend's birthday.
Yeah.
And so the whole friend group, we went archery shooting.
Archery?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like bows and arrows, shooting them at a target.
Okay.
I won, by the way.
Oh, you...
Because I used to shoot arrows with my dad.
What?
I mean, we lived out in the country, and he used to hunt with a bow and arrow sometimes. So I would like target practice with my dad.
Oh my.
So I won. But it has been so long since I've shot a bow and arrow, I just my back hurts. Because you pull, you are using your arms a little bit, but the real strength is coming from your back when you're pulling the string.
Yes.
And now I feel like I need to go get acupuncture or a good massage or something.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, but I didn't know you could do archery in Seoul, but there was a place.
There's a shooting range.
Yeah, it was archery and bowling.
Sure.
And a video game arcade. It was the weirdest match.
That's great.
It was a little sports center thing. It was wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh, you could be our future archer.
I know. I feel like Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games.
Oh my, it's like The Hunger Games. Okay. All right. So, everyone, welcome. We are talking about senior daycare.
Yes.
I don't mind driving you. So, when you say I don't mind, it's basically saying, oh yeah, it's totally okay.
Yeah.
I have no problem driving you.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Here are some other expressions that we're going to learn today. Pick someone up.
This means you are going to a place to give a person a ride.
Okay. How about from time to time?
Every once in a while, occasionally, sometimes.
Okay. And finally, hold down a job. So this is interesting because it's not having a job. Hold down a job.
This means that you are good enough that you do not get fired.
You keep the job.
You keep the job.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and listen to our dialogue.
What time do you want me to take you to your senior center?
They have a shuttle bus that will come by to pick me up around 11.
Oh, that's great. But you know I don't mind driving you from time to time.
Oh, Jess, how are you going to hold down a job if you're constantly driving your uncle around?
My boss understands.
That's good to know. But if you'll excuse me, I have to put on some aftershave and get dressed. Talk later.
Okay, Jessica begins by saying, what time do you want me to take you to your senior center? Okay, so what time, should I give you a ride?
Yeah.
And David says, they have a shuttle bus that will come by to pick me up around 11.
Yes.
So quickly, shuttle bus, and we'll hear this, when we go to the States or other places, when we're traveling. SHUTTLE. What is a shuttle bus?
This is when, a senior center, or I often see it with hotels.
Yes.
The airport is a little bit away from the hotel.
Right.
And you need to get there. But the hotel doesn't want to make you pay
That's
for,
right.
a taxi.
Yeah.
So they'll have, a bus that will take you from the airport to their facilities.
Right. So it's oftentimes a complimentary, so free service.
Yes.
You don't have to pay. However, in LA, we have these blue shuttle buses where you do have to pay.
What?
Yeah. And I don't know why it's called a shuttle bus, but typically when we think of shuttle bus, we think it's free.
Right.
But there is that sort of blue, big company, but it is cheaper than a taxi, because you share the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different forms of transportation these days. But anyway. All right. So here, pick someone up around 11.
Yes, this means to go to a place and give that person a ride.
Right.
So the shuttle bus is going to where David is and will take him back to the senior center.
Okay, so pick me up. Usually, it's usually a car picking someone up, driving, picking someone up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be like your friend goes to the airport.
Yeah.
to give you a ride in their car. Or you can also use this for parents that pick up their children at school.
Right.
So those are 2 places where you can use pick me up.
Right. Okay. So Jessica, what does Jessica say?
Oh, that's great. But you know I don't mind driving you from time to time.
So Jessica's like, oh, well, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Meaning like I want to.
Yeah.
Do what?
Drive
you.
him from time to time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from time to time.
Yes.
How often is from time to time?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
I mean, at most, I think here, if he goes to the senior center 5 times a week, maybe 1 time a week.
Or 2 times a month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
It's not that much.
It's maybe even less than sometimes.
Yeah. I think so too. I feel sometimes is a little bit more than from time to time.
Right.
Yeah.
Very slightly.
Yeah.
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 So here, she's saying, I don't want to drive you all the time. Every day, I could not do that.
Yeah.
But special occasions.
Yeah.
From time to time.
From time to time. Yeah. Very good. And what does David say?
Oh, Jess, how are you going to hold down a job if you're constantly driving your uncle around?
So, Uncle David is worried about Jessica.
Yes.
He doesn't want to be an imposition, which means he doesn't want her to go out of her way, to pick him up and stuff like that, right? Because she has a job.
Yes.
And that's why he says, how are you going to hold down a job if you're constantly driving me around?
Yes.
So, hold down a job. Why are you holding your job anyway?
Yes. Well, this is often used in the negative. I can't hold down a job.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't hold down a job. Yeah. It's talking about being able to maintain your job, to not get fired for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about not being able to hold down a job,
right,
it's like people who are too lazy.
Yeah.
And so the boss gets mad at them and fires them.
Yeah.
Or maybe they miss a lot of work.
Right. Oftentimes you'll hear about people who have drinking problems, and so it's hard for them to hold down a job.
Yes.
Because you got to be on time. You got to do the work. You got to be reliable. But, if you don't do those things and you're partying or doing whatever, it's hard to hold down a job. They're going to fire you.
Yeah, so, it's always used in the negative because it's always, and it's often these really bad problems.
Right.
I think here David's trying to make it a little bit of a joke.
Yeah.
He's using it a little lightly, but he's saying, hey, if you're driving me, you're not going to be at work.
Yeah.
And they're going to get a little mad that you're not at work all the time.
Right. But this idea of like holding down a job or not being able to hold down a job is a pretty serious matter.
Yes.
Okay, so constantly is like always.
Yes, all the time.
All the time. And Jessica says, my boss understands. And David says, that's good to know, but if you'll excuse me, I have to put on some aftershave and get dressed. Talk later. Okay. Now, he says, but if you'll excuse me.
Yes.
It's like, it's in the beginning, but it starts with a but, and then if you'll excuse me.
Yes.
What is this pattern?
So this can be easily confused with excuse me.
Yes.
And it is related, but when you say, if you will excuse me, you are always asking to leave. There's always something that you're saying, I need to stop this conversation. I need to leave you and do something else.
Yeah.
In this case, he's talking about getting ready for the senior center.
Right.
So he's saying, oh, if it's okay with you, if you'll excuse me, I need to go do something.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Because this expression is a little bit formal. Oh, if you'll excuse me. You'll hear it at like business meetings or like company situations, right? And they need to leave, right?
Yes.
But here, I think he's kind of playfully using this expression.
Yeah, he's being formal in a little bit of a jokey way.
Yes,
right?
That's right. So you have to understand what's going on here. He's just using it to be like, oh, I've got important things to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
He's trying to sound very important.
I have to go to the senior daycare. Excuse me. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
What time do you want me to take you to your senior center?
They have a shuttle bus that will come by to pick me up around 11.
Oh, that's great. But you know I don't mind driving you from time to time.
Oh, Jess, how are you going to hold down a job if you're constantly driving your uncle around?
My boss understands.
That's good to know. But if you'll excuse me, I have to put on some aftershave and get dressed. Talk later.
Okay, let's take a quick review, have a quick review of our expressions from Power Note. Okay, the first one is pick someone up, which means to give them a ride.
Yes.
Okay. Weren't you supposed to pick Jake up from school today?
No, it was Tony's turn to do it.
You didn't pick me up today, so I had to take a taxi to work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, does it always have to be pick up with a car? Like you're driving and you're picking someone up?
Well, I guess if you have a helicopter, you could pick
a helicopter.
like in a drama or something, like the really famous.
Yeah. I'll pick you up.
The really rich person. I'll pick you up at 8, and then they come in a helicopter.
Right. I'll pick you up at the at 8 o'clock on the top of the roof.
Yeah.
Helipad.
I mean, it definitely wouldn't be like a plane because you don't own the plane.
Sure. How about this, Cameron? You know how moms, they live in the neighborhood, they don't drive, but they pick up their kids at school? Can that be a pickup?
Walking?
Yeah, walking. Can it be walking too?
Yeah, I think that could work.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's more about retrieving the person.
Yes.
Right?
Right. That's right.
But yeah, you're still kind of like responsible for taking them to the next place often. So yeah, it would definitely be.
Yeah. So all the mommies, who have like elementary school kids, you probably would like to go pick them up, especially if they're like Yuchiwan or, like first, second grade level. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My mother never picked me up.
I mean, I walked. But,
I walked to school and from school, and I was hardly ever picked up.
Well, that was the 80s, though.
That was the 80s. Oh, my gosh. Well, that was a different time.
I know.
That was a different time.
Definitely.
Okay.
I guess some Korean students, if they're close enough, they probably walk.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it's that common anymore.
Yeah. Although I would say that in Korea still, I find that young kids do walk to school by themselves, which is nice to see.
Well, the schools are usually closer to the houses.
Yes, that's right.
In the U.S., your school could be on the other side of the city.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. From time to time, let's talk about this expression. So it's kind of how often?
Not super often.
Yeah.
It's more than rarely.
Yeah.
Less than sometimes.
Yeah.
From time to time.
From time to time. Maybe once, like a few times a year.
Yeah. It doesn't happen often, but enough where, like, when it happens, you're not surprised by it.
You're not shocked.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Not that kind of thing.
Rarely. If you say rarely, it's kind of like, oh, wow.
Wow.
This is shocking. A little surprising.
Okay. So, do you ever talk to Patty, the girl you dated in college?
From time to time, usually around our birthdays.
So, once a year?
Twice a year.
Twice a year. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Famous and important people stay at this hotel from time to time.
It's not every week.
No.
Probably not every month.
No, maybe once every 6 months.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, it's like not that special that the celebrity is there.
Yeah. So, yeah. I have my best friend in LA. We are forever best friends. And we talk to each other from time to time. I would like to speak with her more.
Right.
But I would say, like, we speak 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah, that would probably be from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hold down a job.
You maintain your employment. You keep your job.
You keep your job.
You don't get fired.
I've been holding down a job here at EBS for a long time.
You have.
I have.
That's an accomplishment.
Over 20 years.
Gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
That is.
Yeah. But of course, I feel, though, as a freelancer, I don't know if I would use this expression to hold down a job because you're kind of going from one job to another anyway.
Right, yeah. So it has to be, if you're a freelancer, usually you're always changing your jobs.
Sure.
But I think you can use it specifically with EBS because you've kept that job for so long.
Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. I got fired today.
Again? Why can't you hold down a job for longer than a month?
I don't know.
Ugh.
I've got a problem.
Maybe you need to wake up on time.
Yeah. When the economy is bad, it is important to be able to hold down a job. This is what I say to everyone these days. You've got a job? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Hold it.
I know. Well, it's true. When the economy's good,
yeah.
usually it's so easy to get a job.
Yeah.
When the economy's bad,
Yeah.
you got to be a good employee or they're going to start thinking, do we really need you?
That's right, because money is becoming tight.
Yeah.
So what do? The first thing they're going to do is fire people or lay people off.
Yeah.
Or cancel a project, right? So we got to hold down our jobs.
Yes.
Okay. If you'll excuse me, this is a great pattern. And this is very useful when you find yourself in a meeting or maybe you're at a business lunch and you need to, do something quickly, take a call.
Yes.
And this often happens when you get an important call. You got to take the call. You'll say, oh, if you'll excuse me, I got to take this call.
Yes.
Right? Okay. If you'll excuse me, I have to make a phone call.
If you'll excuse me, I have another appointment to attend.
Yeah. This is kind of a gentle way of saying bye-bye.
Bye.
I have to go.
But like you said, it's very polite. It's pretty formal. I probably wouldn't say this with my friends.
Yes, no. That's right.
Or my family.
No. You just say, I gotta go.
Gotta go.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Hey, I'm sorry. I need to get a call.
Yeah.
I need to take this call.
Yeah, I need to take this call.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
I'll be right
yeah,
back.
very different language. All right, constantly actually is our power vocabulary today, which means all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's thank our sponsor.
한국토익위원회에서 취업과 승진을 위한